Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and I'm quite excited today. This is another puzzle by Black Doom, who I'm beginning to regard as a bit of a boundary pusher, and at the same time as I am terrified by the rule set, I'm also a bit excited and a bit in the mood for some modifier madness, which I think is what we're going to get. Just before we do that, let's remind you that on Patreon, first of all, we've got the Lord of the Rings Sudoku Hunt by Blobs. The reviews for this are just off the scale. He's absolutely nailed it. This may be the best ever. It's fantastic. People are loving it. It's not too hard, although every puzzle is a challenge in its own way. And the story's great. It's just quality all through. Illustrations by Ted Naismith. Fantastic stuff. Do check it out if you're with us on Patreon. And also then, you can see that as well as my crossword video today, Simon's, and that's the regular crossword masterclass that's on the channel, Simon has posted a cryptic crossword himself on Patreon from yesterday, basically. So that's available there, and Simon's style, maybe you can want to compare it with mine. See how we're slightly different in the way we explain cryptic clues. Now, that's Patreon. There's also, of course, all our apps, which do include Arrow Sudoku and Sandwich Sudoku, but not Doubler Sudoku, I reassure you. But those are great challenges in themselves. Sandwich Sudoku was our first app and still amongst the most popular just because of the quality of the way the constraint works and the puzzles themselves. It's really nice. Now, there's also, of course, Sven's SUDOKU Pad, also in the same league of quality, and there's our merchandise as well. I'm looking around to see if I've got any to immediately show you, and I haven't. In fact, I've got a differently branded mug with me. Anyway, you can check that all out on the link side of the video. The first link is to this puzzle called Double Arrow Melt by Black Doom. Melt because, well, I don't know, it makes me think of a nice ice cream on a hot day. Oh no, of course, a melt is a sandwich, and this is a sandwich Sudoku. Tuna melt is the only kind of melt I've really heard of. I'm sure they're more popular elsewhere. I think Black Doom's from Eastern Europe somewhere, where no doubt melts are very popular. Anyway, we have some rules here, which I will go through now. Normal Sudoku rules apply, 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Now, there are 18 doubler cells in the grid. 2 in each row, column, and 3 by 3 box. And they must contain exactly 2 sets of the digits 1 to 9. So I don't think this is going to be double the amount of trouble that doublers give us. It's probably going to be squared the amount of trouble that doublers give us. Those cells are considered to have double their value for the purposes of the arrow clues. So arrows, values along an arrow, sum to the value in the attached circle. So those two add up to that one. Digits can repeat on arrows if allowed by other rules. I would say that only applies to this arrow. It might be missing something, not impossible. Sandwich sums. Oh, I see. Clues outside the grid give the sum of the digits between the 2 doublers in that row or column. And what I see now is why the rule... Okay, this is not the normal sandwich Sudoku. In sandwich Sudoku, you normally add up the digits between the 1 and the 9. Here, you're adding up the digits between the 2 doublers. And that is, well, that's different from normal, but it also explains why there was no point mentioning that the doubled values of the doublers applies to the sandwich sums, because obviously the cells between the 2 doublers will all be non-doublers that don't double their value. So there's, okay, well, at least, now, I'm not sure where I got to before the cough that took me off. So I'm going to recap a bit. The sandwich sums, the clues outside the grid give the sum of the digits between the 2 doublers in that row or column. So wherever the 2 doublers are in this column, the digits between them add up to 18. And they can't include any double digits because obviously the 2 doublers are acting as crusts and they're sandwiching cells that don't double. And that's why there's no explanation in the rules of the fact that that's why it's not even possible. The rules don't even contemplate the possibility that doublers double their values in sandwich sums. They only do it on arrows and their circles, which I now understand. Okay, do give it a try on the first link under the video. I'm going to do that now. Let's get cracking. So, there's not a lot to go on. None of these sandwich clues are enormous. 27 would usually be quite useful. Okay, and it's not counting doublers, so I think I could green those cells, by which I mean I'm deciding that they can't have the doublers in them. Because if they did, you could only have 4 maximum sandwiched cells. Oh, no, it doesn't work at all, because 9 can be a doubler in this puzzle. Yeah, 4 sandwich cells could be 9, 8, 7, 3. So no, I cannot green those cells. I can probably green this one, because the sandwich has to be at least 4 cells, and that must therefore be included in it, whichever end you counted from. That's really not going to make a lot of progress. What I think I have to look at, oh look, there's a symmetry around the corners. These two, well, 1-digit arrows are all pointing at each other. And I would be very surprised if that is not significant. So I want to color the doublers red when I find them. These cells, yeah, in each case, exactly, in each pair, in each domino that I've just highlighted, exactly one of the cells is a doubler. Now, I know it's not both, because both cells would have the same digit. And I know it's not neither, because then both cells would have the same digit. And digits can't repeat in any row, column, or box. Normal Sudoku rules apply to that extent. Therefore, these two, actually we could make them red and green. One is red and the other is green in these pairs. Now, what the hey does that, okay. Okay, well, I thought at first they were pointing around the grid at each other. They're not. But the 27 sandwich row is pointing at this corner. The 18 sandwich column is pointing at this corner. And the 14 sandwich column is pointing at this. Now, that is going to limit things, maybe not in the top row, but I think it does in this column, and it certainly does in this row. And the things that it limits here are the size of the sandwich. We know that one of those two is a crust. Where is the second crust in this row? And most pertinently, can it be here? And the answer is no, because at least these cells would end up being in the sandwich. And the least they can add up to is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equals 21. So that can't be happening. So the fact that there is a red cell here, a crust, a doubler, means that that can't be. So we've resolved that there is a doubler here now. And that is going to be 1, 2, 3, or 4 doubling to give a value of 2, 4, 6, 8 matched in the green cell. And this is going to work in the column as well, because there's a doubler in one of those two. And again, if we were to enclose either those 6 or those 7, the value of the digits would add up to more than 18. So that is not a doubler, and that is. And this again is 1, 2, 3, or 4. That again is 2, 4, 6. Or 8, sorry, something has got caught in my throat. It's not helpful. Now, I think we can take 2 out of these circles because of the 2 cell arrows. If you put, well, I mean, obviously you can, because 1 and 2 is the minimum value, and if you doubled one of those, that would only get bigger. So 2 is not available there. Therefore, I suppose, oh, why didn't I write a 4 in there? Therefore, I suppose, and something's gone wrong. There we go. 1 is not available now in these red cells because it's not doubling to a value of 2. I wonder if we can get these to be a 6-8 pair. That might help things. Now, if 4, I don't know though, because if 4 was in this cell or this cell, its arrow could be a 1-3 pair and its red cell attached would be a 2. Oh, well, maybe that can't happen here. Yeah, it can't. Okay, if that was a 4 and that was a 1-3 pair, you couldn't make up this pair at all. It couldn't be 2-4, 3-6 or 4-8. And I will just explain, in case you didn't spot it, that this can't be a doubled 1 and a 2. I have considered that possibility on the 4 arrow, because this would be a doubled 2, and you'd have 2 2s in the box, and you're not allowed that. So this can't be a 4, and that's not a 2, therefore. Now, this one, well, I'm less sure about. Let me just try and work out if there is a way of deducing that this can't be a 4. Again, that would be a red 2. This would be a 1-3 pair in green. Ah, yes. We'd now have used 1-3-4 in green. How would you make up this pair, which have to either be 1-2, 2-4, 4-8, or 3-6? If you've used 1-3-4 down here, you've only got 2, 6, and 8 left out of those digits to make these up. It's like a black dot. This is weird. And you can't do that because you've used 1, 3, and 4 down here. Right, well, that eliminates 4 from here. And I was thinking this was going to be huge, this 6-8 pair. Let's find out if it is, because I can't work it out, frankly. So, if that's a 6, that's a 3. Then this would be 4-8. Then, if this pair didn't have a doubler, it would be 1-5. If it did have a doubler, it would have to be double 1 plus 4, and that would be ruled out by the 4-8 over this side, or double 2 plus 2, which would rule itself out instantly. Double 3 plus 0 is not worth considering. So, okay, if that's a 6, this is a 1-5 pair of green cells. Now, what does that do for the 14 sum? You would have 6, 1, 5, 8, 4. Then you'd have to make up the 14 sum using some of the digits 2, 3, 7, 9. 9 plus 3 plus 2 is 14. So that is possible. Okay, that is a shame. I was hoping that would fail. Let's try it the other way around. If this was a 6, and that's a 3, and this is an 8, and that's a 4, then there may be a double, well, I think the problem's going to be here, but I'm just going to work on this one first. If that's a 6, that's a 3, that's an 8. If these were both green, they are a definite 1-7 pair. That's possible. If they're not both green, there's a doubler here, and it could be, if that's an 8, it can't be double 1, 6, because we're positing a 6 here. It can't be double 2, 4, because we've put a 4 here. And it can't be double 3, 2, because we've posited a 3 here. That's really interesting. Right, either way round this goes, that is a pair of green cells. Either... Well, what did I work? It's either 1-5 if that's a 6, or if that's an 8 and this is 6-3. Yeah, then it's 1-7. So there's a 1 on them with either 5 or 7. That's really interesting. Right, I thought this was going to be more important, and maybe it is, but that was already doing something which surprised me. Now, if this is a 6 and that's a 3, now this can't be a 6-3 pair. So it's not going to be 1-2 because that circle can't have a value of 2. It could be 2-4 or 4-8, and it uses the 4. And then the 6 is going to have to be fulfilled by a 1-5 pair. It can't be double 1-4, it can't be 2 and 4. and it can't be double 2, 2. So if that's a 6, this is a 1, 5 pair, and that, well, 2, 4 or 4, 8, I don't know which. If that's an 8, that's a 4. Now, this being an 8, I don't know, it doesn't do much for this cell, does it? 3, 6, 2, 4. Oh, that's annoying. Got stuck there. I thought we were going well. Okay. I'm going to briefly bear in mind that oh, hang on. Let's do the 14 sum. If that's an 8 and that's a 4, this is what we did before. That's 6, that's 1, 5. The 14 sum then, I think, is 2, 3, 9. Although if we proved that, I would check it. If that's a 6 and that's a 3, we've got 8, 1, 7 over here. Now the numbers we've got available are 2, 4, 5, 9. And the 14 sum then would have to be a 9, 5 pair with a doubler here, which was 2 or 4. And then another. Oh. Oh, that nearly fails here, but it doesn't quite. That could be a 4 in that circumstance. 6, 3, 8, 1, 7, a 9, 5 pair, 2 and a 4. That would then definitely have 1, 3 here. That's really constrained, but it does still work, which is a frustration. I might have to consider this 27 row. Oh, maybe, how about the 18 row down here? So, one of these is a doubler. How many cells can make up the 18 sum? Let's say that was the doubler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Or 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. But that would use up all the possible... Would it? No, it wouldn't necessarily. That's really annoying. So this could still be the doubler. I was hoping to at least colour this cell green. I'm not sure I can do that. So I'm going to have to go through these possibilities again or something like that. Or maybe, no, I was going to think about the 27 row. That is more constrained in terms of a big number. Okay, the way to look at this is that the digits in the row, they add up to the secret number, 45, the sum of every row, column and box. Don't be too profligate with the secret, but it is true. Because they're the digits 1 to 9. They add up to 45. So the sandwiched digits add up to 27. So the crusts and the outside cells, or outies, wherever they are, add up to exactly 18. Now, what can we do with that information? If those were all in the crust, there'd be an even sum. So would these. I don't know. I'm going to have to think of some way of disambiguating something. I just don't think these other arrows are really playing ball with us today. So the 27 sum. Maybe I could colour those green. Even if I could, I don't think it's going to help. And that would probably be complicated to achieve. Okay, let's think about this domino, because we can rule out 1, 2. The value of both of these cells is 2, 4, or 8. Or it's not 2, it's 4, 6, or 8, sorry. 4, 6, or 8. So it could be 2, 4, with both valued at 4, and they would have to be a 1, 3 pair then. And they would both be non-sandwich cells. I mean, sorry, non-doublers. They could be in the sandwich or outside it, actually. I hadn't thought much about that. But they would be non-doublers. I don't know, there's something going on. It's definitely all around the perimeter, whatever's happening. Okay, maybe the fact that one of those was a 1 was more significant. And we've had a 6-8 pair. Right, the sandwich here is either being made up from 2, 3, 7, 9, and I think it has to be 9, 3, 2, equaling 14. Ah, and that happens if this is a 4, 8 pair. 9, 3, 2, then that's 6, 1, 5. Then this is a double 7. Now, that is only possible if there's another doubler on its arrow. No, it's not true. You can easily add up to 14 with 2 greens. Nonsense. Okay, that is possible, and we would have a 7 here. Now, the alternative view of the universe is that this is 6 and 3, and this is 8, 1, 7, and the sandwich has to then be 9, 5, and these are 2 and 4. So this is either 4 or 7. If it's 4, it's not doubled, because the 2 is the crust here. So if it's the 4, this is a 1, 3 pair. That feels kind of interesting. But if it's a 7, these add up to 14. They might have a doubler on, because we're allowed 2 doublers everywhere. But they might not, unfortunately. 9 has to be in one of these 3 cells now, and it's definitely part of the sandwich. I need to get out of this zugzwang around the outside. What am I missing here? This pair. Come on, let's do this column. Let's do this column. This pair could be 6, 3. Let's think about that. Then this is an 8. And that's a doubled 4. This pair, if that's 6, 3, they can't be a doubled 1, 6. They can't be a doubled 2, 4 because of that cell. And they can't be doubled 3, 2 because that's 6, 3. So there would be no doubler there. So if that's 6, 3, there's no doubler here. And in fact, they are 1, 7 pair then. 8, 1, 7, 6, 3. Now the other digits are 2, 4, 5, 9, and we're adding up to 18 for the sandwich, but we might use one of 6 or 3 as well. So 9, 5, 4 does it. I imagine there are other combinations as well. And that's very frustrating, but it's certainly possible with a 6, 3 pair up here. Let's consider an 8, 4 pair up here. Then that's a 6. We've got a 3 here. If that's an 8, 4 pair, we can't have a doubled 1, 4 here. We obviously can't have doubled 2, 2. And we can't have single 4, single 2. So we'd have to have single 1, single 5. So again, these are both green if that's 8, 4. And again, it's just like here actually. They either have a 1, 5 or a 1, 7 pair. Now, what if this is a 2, 4 pair? And that's different from how we've coloured this row. If that's a 2, 4 pair, it doesn't tell us what this is. But again, it stops this being, I think it's basically going to have to be a pair of odds. I can't think of any combination involving a double, and a pair of green odds. Is there any? If that's a 2, 4 pair, is there any combination using 1, 3 and 5 and a doubler that gets to these? No, because you'd basically have 3 odd digits if you doubled one of those odd digits. So, whether that is 2, 4, 3, 6 or 4, 8, which are the 3 possibilities, this pair is green. And there are, well, they involve odd digits. They could be 3, 5, so I can't guarantee there's a 1 on them. Now, if that's a 3, that keeps a 3 off these, but it makes that a 6. So this would be very prescriptive. You would have 3, 6, 1, 5. Now this couldn't be a 6, 3 pair. 6, 1, 5, and you would use 4 here. And the sandwich could be 9, 7, 2 then. There's probably not many other things it could be in that circumstance. So let's think about this a bit more. Or maybe I need to bring this into play again. That's so irritating. It's quite likely to be true, because again, we've got this 2-cell arrow and that 1-cell arrow looking at each other. So this may be the whole same deal again. Yeah, I mean, these are, again, from 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. We can't put 2 as the value in this cell. It just won't work here. And even though we don't have a sandwich sum in this column, we still have this same problem. If that has a value of 8, it's a 4 or an 8, and that's a 3, 6 pair. And I think it has to be a 1, 7 pair, because those are 8 and 4. If this has a value, I mean, it's the same deal all over again, just as it is here. This didn't depend on the sandwich total for that column. So I think yet again we can write in those as green and odd digits. This can't, no, it could be a doubled 2. And I feel like we're almost getting somewhere, but not quite. Now the sandwich here is now confined to either, well, some of those 4 cells. Okay, hang on. What if this is the crust in this column? The outies have to, it can't be, can it? It's so obvious. I'm sorry. This has been obvious for ages to you, not to me, but I've got it now. That we can't have a crust there because the outies plus the circles, plus the doublers, the crusts, have to have a digit sum of 18 in this row, 45 minus 27. Well, you can't achieve that in just 2 cells because it's the digit sum. It's not including doubler values to get to that 18. That's really weird, but I hope you're following me that it's the digits that add up to 45. And when you take out the sandwich sum of 27 somewhere in the middle, the other digits, including the crusts, the doublers, the digits add up to 18. So even if we had 1 there, this can never be. So that is not a doubler, and that one therefore is. And this is the smaller number, 2, 3, or 4, and this is the larger number, 4, 6, or 8. Now, and that is definitely counting. That 4, 6, or 8 is counting in the sum of 18 in this row. Now, do we have to have a doubler here, or is this the same? Is this the same pattern again? Are those going to both be green? Because that's going to be really significant. Is this the same pattern again? I'm not even sure. If that was a 4, that's how it's different from these ones. If that's a 4, with a doubled 2 here and a 1, 3 pair here, they're green. And otherwise we have exactly the same deal going on here and here. So these are both green and they're both odd, because even if it's a 4, they're a 1, 3 pair. That's so strange. I'm just going to rule out 8 and 2, 6 pair. Yeah, the reason that's ruled out is because you'd only be left with 3 and 4 over here, and that doesn't work. So these are both odd. I mean, the same pattern has prevailed all the way around. It's taken me 24 minutes. Probably took me about 6 minutes to get the first pattern there with those 2 being green, and yet I've basically had to do the same thinking everywhere because I'm being a bit slow. But we're getting there now. We're getting there now. Those are definitely green. Now, if that wasn't red, if that wasn't a crust in this row, how could you possibly add to 27? You're not allowed to double the digits in the sandwich. So that is red. And the sandwich has to include, well, it has to be 4 cells long, of course. So this time we do get a sandwich digit in the corner. That is different from all the other bits where we've ended up not having a sandwich digit in the corner. The sandwich digit in the corner is the low value, 2, 3, or 4. This is the higher one. And I just got that wrong. 4, 6, or 8. Now this can't be a 2 because that wouldn't work. So this is now a 3, 4 pair in the column, and those can't have a 3. And they are either a 1, 5 pair adding to 6 or a 1, 7 pair adding to 8. Now, come on, we must be getting somewhere now. Surely I can run something round and take it back down here. These add up to 27. So these cells, the digits, add up to 18. So that's not an 8, because then those would add up to 16 and the digits here could only add up to 2. So that's not happening. Now, if that's a 6, these add up to 12. And these would have to add up to 6. 6, 5, 1, 4, 8, and that would be a 2 getting doubled. And those would have to be a 1, 3 pair in green. That's possible, and they could even contribute to a sandwich of 10, just. So that is possible. Now, if that was a 4, oh, well, that would be a 1, 3 pair, and this cell would be broken, because 3 and 4 would be ruled out of the column. So it is the first one. We've got digits. Yee. It's a 6 there, and that's a 5, 1 pair, and this is a 3. And I'm just going to do this side first. 8, 4, which represents 8 and is a 1, 7 pair. Now down here, this is 8 in the corner, that's 4. This is, now it doesn't have a 3 in the column because of that red cell. And I will go back and do the sandwiches in a moment, because I think I might be able to do something with those. So now we've got a 1, 5 pair here. Now, the reason I had this pencil marked as 4 or 7 was because I believe, I just want to check this carefully. The digits I have available for the sandwich, which can't be more than those 3 cells, are 2, 3, 7, 9. Right, well, I can either use the even digit or not, and 2 odd digits, but 2, 3, 9 works, and no 2 of those digits add up to 14. So that is a 2, 3, 9 sandwich. That is a red 7. This total is 14. Oh, of course, the 0 thing means that's green, because the 2 reds can't be next to each other in this column. Now, it doesn't mean that's red, but that might be red. Now, we don't know anything about the sandwich in this column because we don't get a clue, but we do know the digits are 2, 5, 8, 9. That one can't be a 5 because of the 1, 5 pair. Now, in this column, we do, and in this row, actually, we worked it out, I think, that this was going to be a 2. And these are 3, 7, 9, and 3, 7, 8, 9 do add up to 27. Yes. Right, in this column we need at least 3 digits in the sandwich, so it's exactly 3. And we can just do maths. 45 minus 18 means that these cells add up to 27, and we've already got 25 in them? Am I doing the maths right? 16, 22, 25, yes. So that is another 2. And we're only allowed 2 red 2s. Oh, look, we've got 2 red 4s and 2 red 3s already. So that's going to be part of the puzzle in a moment. These digits are 4, 5, and 9. That one can't be a 5 in a box with a 1, 5 pair. Now, this red 2 definitely has a 1, 3 green pair on it because we can't use another 2 in the box. The sandwich in this column is 10. So the rest of the sandwich, which has already got 4 in it, adds up to 6. But we can't use any really low digits. So we're going to have to put in a 6 and make it green. And bingo, we have completed the sandwich suddenly. So that goes red. We don't know what digit it is. But these are green. And we've done another clue. We've suddenly done loads of the sandwich clues. Even this one is done, basically, now we've made that cell green. It's only this. This is the last sandwich clue we have to do. Right, 15 is at least 2 cells. Now it's at least 3. And it can't be more than 4 cells. You can make 5 digits add up to 15, but you'd need to use a 2. So that is the maximum length of the sandwich. That's the maximum leftness or westness of the crust. So those are sandwich digits, and that can't be a 2 by Sudoku. In fact, I haven't thought about doing Sudoku. Look, a 2-3 pair up there, so that's a 9. I like that. These cells are 4, 5, 7, 8, and I'm going to pencil mark them. Those can't be a 7. Okay. So now the rest of the, well, we've still got to work out this 15 sandwich, but apart from that, the rest of the puzzle is in the arrows, and especially in the doublers generally, because we're to have 2 in every row, column and box. We've done the perimeter of the puzzle, and we've got the 2 in each of those rows and columns, but we haven't got 2 into any one box yet. Ah, look at this pair. The absolute minimum sum is a double 4 and a 5, which takes us to 13 and ensures this is a doubler. And indeed 13 won't work. This is at least 14 therefore, so it's 7, 8 or 9. The total of these, including a doubler here, is 14, 16 or 18. Because that's double and therefore even, and that's double and therefore even, this is going to have to be even. It's not 5 or 7, it's 4 or 8. If it was a 4, the difference between the digits in those 2 cells is 2, and they could be 5, 7 or 7, 9. If that's an 8, the difference between those 2 is 4. They can't be 4, 8 because that would repeat the 8. They could be 5, 9. So these are both presenting as odd, I think, now. And I think there are 3 combinations that we've worked out work there. But we need a 7 in this column, and we've just found it. It's on the red. Now this has to be a 4, and that's a 9 in the other circle. Now we've done both red 7s. Oh, the rest of this box is green because we've got the 2 reds in it. So this is a genuine arrow circle, with the circle being either 8 or no higher than 5. And we're not allowed to use 4 on that. So 8, 5 or 3, I'm going to say. And on the arrow we have either 3, 5, 2, 3 or 1, 2. Now, what about this? This is a 14 arrow. This is confusing. Okay, if those are genuine digits, both green, they are 8 and 6, because they can't use a 9. Then that's 5, 4. And this is a 1, 2, 3 set. Then that's a 5, 8 pair. I think this does work. It's probably right there for, oh look, there's a 1, 3 pair there, so they don't have a 3 in, and I've placed 3 in the top row. This group of cells now is 4, 5, 6 and 8. This group is 2, 5, 6 and 9. This group I don't know because I haven't worked that one out. This arrow? I can still see ways. Do you know what? I can see ways that this works with no doublers, ways that it works with a doubler there, and even at least one way where it works with a doubler here. So I don't think I can really approach that arrow yet. Pity. This one maybe. I don't know. Where do I go now? 3, 6, 1, 5. These are from 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. Oh, let's think about the red cells. We've used double 2s, double 3s and double 4s and double 7s. And then 1 double 9. So we've got double 1s to go. But apart from that, everything that we're doubling is quite high. Double 5, 6, 7 or 8 or even 9. Oh, that's a load of stuff. Not 7, 5, 6, 8 or 9. 6, 3, 1, 5. I need to find somewhere else where there is no doubler. 4, 1, 7, 8, 3, 6, 1, 5. Well, okay, this digit. Well, the trouble is it could be doubled. Ah, well, if it's doubled, it can't be 2 or 4. And if it's as a single digit, it couldn't be 2 or 4 given the arrow. You couldn't have 1, 2 there. So this is a 7, 8 or 9. And it's, well, it's either doubled or it's not. What a fatuous thing to say, but it's true. Oh, that can't be a 9. 2, 4, 9. There might be a doubler on this arrow. There probably is because we still have 1 for the box to find. Gosh, I don't know. This is... Oh, look, 7 there is looking at the top of the grid. I don't think that's affected anything, but it's still worth picking off Sudoku digits like here. 1, 3, 1, 7. Ah, one of these is a 7. That's quite interesting. And 7, it's a genuine 7. That's now very interesting. Or almost very interesting. It almost means that has to be a doubler. It doesn't quite, because this could be a 7-2 pair, and that could be a single 9. And that would be a 4, and that would have to be a double 8 in that situation. Now, the alternative, well, 7 can't be with a doubler here because it needs, if it's not with 2, then it has to be with something that will take this up to over 9 and therefore make that the doubler. Yeah, these two are both green now. And it's got to be with an odd digit, in fact, because that has to be a doubled even digit. And we can't have 1, 5 or 3 or another 7 in this pair. So if it's with another odd digit, it's 7, 9. This is either 7, 2 or 7, 9, leading... That's really interesting. It's either 7, 2 leading to an ordinary 9, or it's 7, 9 leading to a doubled 8. And if it's 7, 2 leading to an ordinary 9, we get a doubled 8 here instead. So in one of these two cells, there is a doubled 8, and these are all green because we've got the 2 doublers for the row, and they don't include 8. And these are either 7, 2 or 7, 9, so that might rule some things out of this arrow. Oh, we've definitely got a doubler in one of these cells. And we've definitely got a doubler in one of these cells. So we've got at least one doubler on this arrow. Now, if we had 2 doublers on the arrow, that would have to be even. And we couldn't double both of those. It would go too high for a single. So if we had... I don't know, what do we do? What do we do? We have to figure out what's going on here. Double 2... See, I think that must be a double. If this was doubled, if this was doubled, it's at least 8. I suppose doubled 4 plus, this would have to be single, because you couldn't double both of those and leave that single. So if this was doubled, this is single and is even. Double 4, 2 and double 5. That doesn't work because it uses 2 and 4, and that leaves 3 cells here to be 7 and 9. Okay, so that doesn't work. I'm trying to rule a doubler out of here. If this is double 5 plus a single 2 is double 6. That's 7, 9, 4, and that's a double 8. No, it's a single 8, and that's fine. Oh, boo. Oh, that's very frustrating. Right. Oh, this pair adds up to 11. I'd forgotten that in this row. Now we've got that as a 4. This is not 4, 7 or 9, 2. It's either 3, 8 or 5, 6. Forming a 5, 8 virtual pair in this row. So that is 1 or 3. And these are from 1, 3, 6, 7. That one can't be a 3. Well, that's quite interesting here, is it? I'm not sure. Surely we're definitely using 1 or 3 in one of these cells. Ah, no, this is interesting. I think it's going to make this a doubler. If this was 3, 4, let's imagine this is green and these are both single cells. If that was 3, 4, that would be 1 and that would be 2, 5, but that adds up to the wrong total. If that was 2, 5, that would be a 1, 3 pair and that's broken. If this was 1, 6, again, that would be 3 and that would be a 2, 5 pair and that would add up to the wrong total. So that is a doubler. And this one now isn't in the column. Bingo. So that is a doubler. We only have one doubler on this arrow, which is unsurprising. I don't even know where it is, but I'm still pleased. Now this can't be doubled 4 because we've had 2 lots of doubled 4 already. This down here, we're definitely using 1 or 3 on this arrow to make this total. So 1 and 3 have gone from this column. Okay, all of the stuff I was just doing was completely wrong because it was based on this adding up to 7, and it doesn't, does it? It adds up to 14, so my sincere apologies. Okay, so if that's double green, which is now possible again, it's 6, 8, that's a 4, 5 pair. This is a 1, 2, 3 set. And I'm no further forward. Okay, that's very possible. Okay, my chances of ruling that out from being green are pretty slim. Can I rule it out from being red now? Probably not. Okay, I'm in the wrong part of the puzzle then. Sorry about the mistake there. These things happen. Worse things happen at sea. Now, come on, let's get something else. One of those is definitely a 5. Let's think about this pair, which adds up to 11. If that was 5, 6, oh, well, this breaks immediately. Look, one of those cells is a 5 in this trio. Oh, it's that simple. So that's 3, 8. That's a 1. That takes 1 off this cell and removes 3 from there. Also, 1 comes out of these 2, which are getting more limited, including the one on the arrow. That's either 2, 3 with a 5 and an 8 here, or 3, 5 with an 8 and 2 here. Now, this might be a little more constrained than it was before. No, not by removing a 1. It actually isn't. We're adding up to 14 down here. Doubled 2 would need a 10. That's no good. Doubled 3 would break that because there's definitely a 3 in one of those cells. Doubled 4 would make that a 6. And that would be a 5, 8 pair. Doubled 4 and a 6. That would be 5, 8. Again, we'd have 1, 2, 3 here. Doubled 4 and a 6 looks like it does work. Doubled 5 and a 4, that might work as well. Oh, done this all before and it didn't get any better this time. Oh, the 3, 8 pair has taken a 3 out of there, so there's only one place for 5 in this row. There we go. And now, so all the sandwich clues are basically done. There's nothing to be learnt from those. Just checking that that's right. I think it is. It's definitely a 3 there. Oh, let's think about the digits again in red. 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 7s already done. Oh, so we can't have a doubled 2 here. I don't see how we have a... No, I don't know. No, okay, let's think about this. If this was 7 9 and that's a 4, then we've got 2 5 6 8 to use here. Okay, let's just focus on whether this can be the doubler. Doubled 2 and a 5 equals 9. That's the only way this can be a doubler. I think. And that doesn't work, because if you use 2 and 9 on the arrow, those would both be 7. Okay, let's just check. For this to be a doubler, yeah, as soon as this is doubled 5, that has to be a third doubler in the box. That's no good. So the only way for this to be a doubler was if it was doubled 2, and we're not even allowed a doubled 2 anymore. Complete poppycock. So that is not a doubler, and this definitely is a doubler. But it's not the second one in anything. Now, if that is, this can't be a doubled 2. So it's either worth 10, 12, or 18. It can't be 18. It can't be 18, because that would be, oh, it could, with a 2 and a double 8. 9, 2, 8 we would have here. That breaks this, so it can't be 18. 6 there, this would have to be even, and 6 there would require another 6 there, so it can't be 18. So this is 12 or 10. Now this can't be a 9 under either circumstance. If it is 12, 6 there would require a 6 or a doubled 3 here. If it's 10, 6 there would require a single 4 here. That is possible. If it's 10, 5 there is impossible. 2 there would require a doubled 4 here, or a single 8. Oh, bother. How can there still be multiple possibilities at this stage? It's very, very frustrating. Oh, we know there's a 9 in one of those cells in this row. So that has become an 8. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Now that fixes this as a 7-9 pair, and the 8 is a doubler. And that is not an 8 and is green. And that's now a 7-9 pair. So this is a 4, and this green cell has become a 2. And I'm going to remove the corner mark from all of those cells, because I've noticed this is now a 5-9 pair. This is a 1, 4, 6, 7 set. Those two can't be 4. So this arrow's got interesting. Well, this row's interesting, this arrow's interesting. Let's look at this arrow first. Now, we can't have 2 double. Oh, that is not doubled. That is a single 5 or 9. Well, it can't be 5 anymore, so that's a 9. And how is that going to be made up here? It's got to be a doubled 1 and a 7. Yes, and that's going to clear up some stuff. So there, oh, in fact, we can use the 7 first of all to sort out the order. And now that's the second doubler in row 5, all tidied up, and in box 6. So we get a lot of green. Those 7 and 1 are going to read up to here. Box 3 is finished. That feels good. 8 in column 8 is there. That's a 3, 6 pair. This is a 2. That's a 3. Come on, puzzle. Give it up for me. 2, 5, 9, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 1. Okay. I can't really disambiguate those yet until I do something else. Now, in this row, 4793. So we take 4 out of those cells. Now, what cells have we got doubled in the puzzle? We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and then repeats of 2, 3, 4, 7. So we've still got 2 5s, 2 6s, and some others to go. It's no good yet, but maybe this can be done now. I don't know. I don't think enough has changed. Let's do this first. 5 sees that cell, 8 there. This is a 3 5 pair. That's more like it. These can't have 5 in. This is getting interesting, but also this is now interesting, surely. If we can't use 1, 3, we've used all the odd digits in the column. So this is 2 even digits making up 14. So, and it can't be 6, 8 anymore because of what that's been reduced to. So that's red, and this is green. Interesting. That's red. And this is 2 ordinary digits adding to a doubled total, which is 10 or 12. So that has to be a 2, and that has to be an 8, and the 10 is a doubled 5. And we are racing along relatively now. Okay, good, good, good. That 5 looks down to the bottom. This pair is a 2 and a 6, and that has got to be a doubled 6 and a 2 equals 14. These don't have a 4 in. These are green, and they are a 1, 4 pair, which I can't believe isn't resolved. That 6 is going to fix the 3, 6 pair. Oh, I don't know what the double is going to be in this box. That 3, oh, I could have done that from there too. And the 2, oh, it's in one of those 2 cells. Okay, now I care what the doublers I've used are. We've used 1, 1, both 2s, both 3s, both 4s, 1, 5. So I've got a 1 left and a 5 left, both 6s, both 7s, 1, 8 and 1, 9. I've got, oh, these are both doublers in their box. And I've got 1, 5, 8 and 9 to place, and 8 and 5 are done in this row. So that is a 9 and a 1. And now I've got 5 and 8 to do as doublers. The 5 is going to be in this box, obviously. And the 8 is going to be a doubler in this box, and it can't be in those cells because they see an 8. So there's a doubled 8 here. Well, it can't be there because the total of this single cell would be more than 16. So the doubled 8 is here in the circle. That gives us the last bit of colouring in the grid. That fixes this 8, 5 pair and a 9, 5, and we've got our 5 and 8 in the doubled cells. So we've got all the doubled cells complete. Yay for us. That is a 4 or a 7. Now there must be Sudoku to do before I tackle this final arrow. 4 or 7 there, 4 or 6 here. Oh no, that's a 6, 7 pair looking at that. So that's a 4. Yeah, this is all just going to fill in. Hurrah! I think we deserve it. We've worked hard. 3 there. That is 7. That is 6. That's 7. That's 4, 2. 4, 1. 7, 1. And does this arrow add up correctly? 14, 16 equals doubled 8. It wasn't an unnecessary arrow because we used something about it earlier in... we used that couldn't be the doubled cell. So it's really interesting how this has worked out. Lovely stuff from Black Doom. A very tough solve, but thoroughly enjoyable from start to finish. And I love the idea that people create these for sort of themes that they're given, and then they just come up with something that brilliant. It's fantastic. Thanks to Black Doom. Thank you for watching and following along and not being too nasty when I made the mistake about thinking that was a 7 or failing to notice the full perimeter roundage at the beginning. Anyway, good fun. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.